So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, Canelo and Andrade got into a back and forth. I don't know if you guys saw that. And Canelo told him straight to his face that, listen, you fought nobody. And Andrade said, well, who did these guys fought you? They fought nobody as well. You know what? Andrade, I think one of Andrade's team members was like, you've been ducking him at 154, you're ducking him at 160, now you're ducking him at 168. Come on. Canelo ain't ducking no Andrade, man. Listen, Andrade looked bad against Liam Williams. I don't think Canelo is worried about Demetrius Andrade. And I like Andrade. I think he's a decent fighter, but to be honest with you, I don't even think Andrade beats Golovkin. I don't think Andrade beats Charlo. I'm never a fan. I'm never a fan of a guy going into another guy's press conference trying to take his limelight. And there was expletives, back and forth between the two. And Canelo said, you fought nobody. And then, Demetrius Andrade's like, call him a, you know what. And then, he was like, you watch your mouth. It's when I see you, it's on and stuff like that. But listen, man, Canelo will beat Andrade. Canelo would beat Andrade. And I like I said, I think Andrade, I just don't think Andrade has got the punching power. I think he's not as slick as what people make out to be. I think he gets hit a lot. And I think Canelo showed tonight that these type of southpaws, that he can dominate. Let's be honest, I thought he dominated the fight tonight. Even though I thought it was competitive, but he dominated for me. And I think he'd do exactly the same to Andrade. And I actually think that he'd knock Andrade out, if I'm honest with you. From what I saw in the Liam Williams fight, I think he'd knock Andrade out. Canelo's too tough. He punches too hard. And I don't think any of these guys beat him. I don't. That's no shame to Andrade. Andrade's a good fighter, but I just think Canelo's on a different level right now. Canelo's on a different ballpark to all of these guys. He's on a different ballpark to any of these guys. People talk about Benavidez and all of these guys. Canelo will be the undisputed super middleweight champion. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. There's no one beating him. Honestly, people want to hate on Canelo. They can continue hating on Canelo. He'll beat them all. He'll beat them all. He'll beat Charlo. He'll beat Golovkin. He'll beat Andrade. He'll beat them all. He beat Saunders tonight. Saunders and Andrade are kind of at a similar level. If those two fought, it'd be a 50-50 fight. Right? I actually said I think Andrade would beat Saunders, but that would be a good fight. I think that's Andrade's level, if I'm honest. I think Canelo's a level above. I do. I think Canelo's a level above, and I think Canelo would beat Andrade. Maybe more emphatically or just as emphatically as he beat Saunders. I think he would dominate. I think he's got the better boxing IQ. I think he's got more tools in his toolbox. I think he's got punches harder. I think he's got the better chin. I think he's got the better stamina. That's not a good fight for Andrade, especially with the way I saw Canelo today, the way Canelo cuts off the ring now. I don't see these guys being able to beat him. Full stop. He becomes undisputed champion. I know Caleb Plant is the next fight that he's targeting. And the Caleb Plant fight will probably happen next because that's the fight he wants, because he wants to become undisputed. And I believe he will fight Caleb Plant and he'll beat Caleb Plant. Canelo Alvarez will become the undisputed super middleweight champion. I can't see anyone stopping him. I can't see it. And I like all the fighters at super middleweight. Benavidez, all of those guys, yeah, good fighters. Caleb Plant, but they're not going to beat Canelo. I know people think that Benavidez is a threat. Nah, Canelo Alvarez would beat Benavidez as well. Benavidez is tall and he throws punches and stuff, but his defense isn't great. And I don't think he's as fast as what people think. And I can see him stopping Benavidez, because Benavidez has been hurt by a lesser guy. He's been put down. And I just think Canelo's boxing IQ will be too much. I know Benavidez is big, he's strong, and he throws a lot of punches, but I just think Canelo would land something big and probably stop him. But yeah, I think Canelo's so versatile and such a complete fighter. I don't think anyone that you put in front of him is going to beat him now. You know, he just has that confidence. He just has that, or even if the fight's not in his favor, he finds a way. He finds a way, man. Canelo finds a way. Canelo's an unbelievable talent. He's just a great, great fighter. He finds a way. You know, even when the chips are down, he'll find a way because he's so complete. He's got so much tools in the toolbox that he's going to find a way. He punches very hard. Yeah, I can't see this guy being beat by anyone. I think the only guy that possibly can beat him is at 175 is Beterbiev. You know, Canelo, for me, could become undisputed at middleweight and he could become undisputed at super middleweight. Super middleweight is one belt away and he's going to do it. Let's be honest. I don't think any of us think that Caleb Plant, even though Caleb Plant's a good fighter, I like Caleb Plant. And I was actually a big fan of Caleb Plant. When I saw him on the Pacquiao undercard, I was really impressed. I thought this guy is something special. But Canelo right now, for me, is on another level. And maybe if Canelo wasn't there, Caleb Plant might have done a bit unified and been, you know, may have done a lot in this division. But I just don't think against Canelo any of these guys can beat him. I don't. I think Canelo's just that good right now, you know. Canelo's, he's mentally and physically in a different place and he's in the peak of his powers, which is scary. He's fought 58 times. Normally when a guy that's fought 59 now, but normally when a guy's fought that many times, right, that many times, normally they're coming towards the end of his career. For me, he looks like he's coming into his prime, which is scary for other fighters that he's going to face, because if this guy's coming into his prime after 59 fights, you know, honestly, I don't know where this is going to end, because I actually think he could go to light heavyweight. And I know a lot of people think Bivol and Beterbiev beat him. I don't think so. I don't think so. I honestly think Bivol, he would beat him. And I think Beterbiev would be a 50-50 fight. And I actually think I would pick Canelo to win that. I would pick Canelo to win that fight. Trust me, Canelo is an unbelievable fighter. He fought a two-way undefeated world champion. I don't think he really broke sweat. I don't think he was sweating in that fight. I just don't think it was a tough fight. I don't think it was a fight where he was comfortable in there. He was comfortable in there. You know, and that shows greatness when a guy is dominating in the sense that he's winning fights without breaking a sweat. Like, he beat Callum Smith, beat him down. You know, Billy Joe was more competitive in himself. Billy Joe won a few more rounds, but still, really, it always looked like there was going to be one winner. And then the Yildirim obviously was a guy not on his level, and he blew him out. You know, he knocked out Kovalev, who was obviously went 11 and was doing well, but Canelo was power. This guy is going to be difficult to beat. Trust me when I say that. He's going to be difficult to beat. Anyone that faces Canelo is in for a hard night's work. Hard night's work. Simple. Simple as that. I don't see anyone beating Canelo Alvarez right now. Nope. And listen, like I said to you guys, I like some of the fighters at the super middleweight division. I like Billy Joe. I like Caleb Plant. I like Benavidez. They're all fun fighters. Now, Billy Joe hasn't got a really exciting style, but he's definitely a good fighter, build up and everything. And all these guys, they're all coming to win. But Canelo right now, he's in a different place. He's in a different space. He's an all-time great, you know. And when you talk about all-time greats, you talk about fighters that come once every now and then. And I don't see any of those in the super middleweight division apart from Canelo. I think Golovkin was his toughest test, and toughest test in around middleweight and super middleweight. And I think Golovkin won the first fight, which was very close, by the way. But I think that's his match. I think Canelo and Golovkin, that's his match. I think the only else where you'll find his match is maybe Beterbiev, who will probably give him a fight like a Golovkin. But in terms of Golovkin, that was Canelo's match. And I would love to see that trilogy, because I actually think that might still be his toughest fight, which may sound crazy because Golovkin's near 40, but that might still be his toughest fight. Maybe stylistically, that type of style could potentially win against Canelo, but it'll be difficult because Golovkin's getting older, Canelo's getting better, Canelo's very active, and Canelo just looks invincible right now. So that would be a fight that would definitely interest me, and that would be a fight that I would definitely like to see. The Golovkin fight, the Beterbiev fight. I think these are the guys. Charlo as well. Charlo's decent, but again, Charlo, Andrade, I just don't see any of those guys give Canelo any kind of contest. I don't. I think, you know, Beterbiev is the only one now that probably could beat Canelo. Otherwise, I don't see anyone. I don't see anyone touching Canelo. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think there's anyone at 160, 168 that you think could beat Canelo? I don't. I think he'll become undisputed. I think he'll dominate and reign supreme for a very long time. I do. I think he's a special. I think he's one of the best in the world. One of the best in the world in terms of all weight classes. I personally think not one of the best. I think he is the best. I think he's the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. I do. I think he's the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. I do. I don't think if you can tell me a fighter that's better. You know, Carl Frotzen, which I'm going to actually do a video about, he said that Terence Crawford, a fighter like Terence Crawford could probably beat Canelo. Like someone of that type of Crawford's too small because of how versatile Crawford is. Possibly. But again, there isn't a Crawford in the higher weight classes. So, yeah. I don't see anyone out there that I think could beat Canelo. He's just so versatile and so complete. Great punching power, great boxing ability, great chin. You know, his feet are very educated now. He cuts off the ring. You know, yeah, no one's beating this guy. You know, he's a machine. Let's be honest. Let's be real. He's a machine. Canelo Alvarez is a machine. And I don't see anyone stopping that machine anytime soon. I think the only guy that potentially could stop the machine is a light heavyweight unified champion in Arthur Beterbiev. And I wouldn't even be put. I would actually favor Canelo in that fight. That's a 50-50 fight. But if you were to ask me who I would pick Canelo in that fight. I think Canelo's head movement. I think Canelo would be a lot more evasive in that fight, and Beterbiev wouldn't find it easy to land. And I think Canelo would counter him. I do think Canelo's I don't think Canelo's that big a puncher at 168. You know, Billy Joe took some clean flush shots today, and he took them well. He was just out. He was just, you know, I just think eventually he was going to be outgunned. And I always said that I think Canelo would stop Billy Joe because I don't think he had the same kind of toughness and durability of a Callum Smith. And I was right in the end. Callum Smith, I think Callum Smith would have got stopped as well, but I think Callum Smith more went into his shell in that fight, and that's probably why if Callum Smith had opened up, Canelo might have stopped him as well. But I think Billy Joe obviously got a little bit confident, and he tried to. I think he looked to throw a hook and missed it, and then Canelo came from underneath and hit him with an uppercut, and that was that. Basically, you know, fight ended. But yeah, Canelo for me right now is the best super middleweight, the best middleweight, and possibly the best light heavyweight, which obviously we'd want him to prove. But I think we can conclusively say at 160 and 168, there isn't a better fighter than Canelo Alvarez right now. And there isn't a fighter that we would really pick to beat him. Really, I don't think there is anyway. I don't think there is a fighter that you could say would conclusively beat Canelo at those weights. I just think he beats them all. And I think today's performance shows how much of a dominant champion he is. You know, that he fights champions and he just beats them with ease. Like, you know, it's so comfortable for him. It's so comfortable for him. And yeah, he's the best in the world right now. I don't think anyone would argue that. Like I'm a neutral. And I've got to be honest. I'm in awe of the guy. The fact the guy's dedicated. He just fights all the best. He's going to fight Caleb Plant next. And then everyone's going to say he's cherry picking. Like, people have already started saying that Canelo's cherry picking. I don't know whether these people like to troll. Or just like to troll Canelo. But again, Canelo is a master. He's a great boxer. And I told you guys that Canelo, when people said Saunders is it's boxer v puncher, and I said no, Canelo is the better boxer. And I felt like he showed that in that fight. He showed he was the better boxer. But yeah, in terms of going back to my original point, I think Canelo will become undisputed. I don't think anyone will stop him. I don't think Caleb Plant, Andrade, any of these guys beat him, and I think he beats them all. I think he beats them all. But leave your thoughts, guys. I'd love to know your opinions in the comment section. Leave your thoughts, and I will be doing a live stream hopefully later today if I find some energy later. I'm gonna go sleep now because it is about 8, half 8, and I haven't slept. So yeah, I'm gonna go sleep. Leave your thoughts, guys. I'll see you all in the next video.